Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the phone Dr. Ahmed Ghoniem, the Professor of Economics at the Faculty of Economics and Political Science, Cairo University. Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed, for being with us on Nile TV International and the Daily Debate.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
The pleasure is all mine. Of course, if we have just a background, a historical background about the October War victory, as we are entering the first week of the month of victories. 49 years ago, we had the October War victory against Israel in 1973. What are your memories with such an achievement?
To start with, it showed the Arab solidarity. Yes. With the issue of oil and banning of oil exports. And then this helped to show the power of oil in the world, which actually helped to enhance the growth in the Egyptian economy as well as other Arab countries, together with the change of the economic policy at that time from being closed up to opening up to the world. Definitely, such path of development and growth was not a smooth road. There were bumps all over, but again, with the global change in the world towards globalization, which actually started at that date as well, not a recent phenomena, Egypt was able to navigate its way as a developing country, having a number of challenges, whether with the population growth or whether with the external shocks that Egypt experienced, simply because the Egyptian economy is more or less vulnerable to the changes in the world because it's a very open economy by the trade economists' jargon, and then we were able to achieve growth. Definitely there were pitfalls and definitely there were setbacks which affected some of the major macroeconomic variables, including the exchange rate issue, including the poverty rate. But overall, its performance, the Egyptian economic performance, was, let's say, a positive. And this showed up as well when we look at what happened recently in COVID-19, closed down of the whole world, and the Egyptian economy was one of the very few economies all over the world was able to achieve positive economic growth. The issue that we always face is sustainability. And what I see right now, whether we're talking about green economy or whether we're talking about social solidarity, yes, the Egyptian government is taking good care of such issues at this stage.
Mm-hmm. Doctor, you mentioned the COVID-19 and the crisis that took all over the world. How do you think Egypt dealt with such a crisis successfully, as you mentioned?
Well, Egypt chose a different path. It didn't choose a complete lockdown, as most of the European and the Western, let's say the Western style type of economies did, and it didn't choose as well a very open without any kind of precautionary health measures. On the contrary, it has chosen a balance between the health aspects and the economic aspects, which helped to a large extent in having such positive economic growth, as well as depending on tourism, which was a major source and remains a major source of foreign exchange and employment and growth for the economy. And in that sense, we did very well in balancing such economic aspects with health aspects. And if you look at the journey, comparing Egypt to the rest of the world, what kind of measures would have been adopted and whether COVID-19 was some kind of a game or whether it was truth or such kind of let's say, spectacular kind of views, I think Egypt was able to navigate its way in such hard times. Yet, getting out of the COVID-19 with the economic reform measures that were taken helped the economy to survive, but yet another strong economic shock, external shock, which is the Ukraine-Russian war, has again affected the Egyptian economy negatively. But again, when we compare to the rest of the world, look at what's happening now in Europe in terms of the crises happening with oil and a lot of major food commodities, Egypt is able to navigate its way.
How do you think, Doctor, the government managed to be protecting the Egyptian citizen from the economic hardships that are taking all over the world? And as you mentioned, the corona or the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and up till now, and more recently in February of this year, the Russia-Ukraine conflict programs, the social solidarity programs like A Decent Life, Haya Karima. How would you assess these programs?
Well, as you rightly said, there is a strong social safety net adopted by the Egyptian government, and they're actually dedicated towards the poor segments of the society, simply because the poverty rate is relatively high in Egypt, and hence you need to take good care of such segment of the society and the marginalized groups. In recent times, not only Haya Karima and all this kind of Takaful Karama and all those such kind of programs, but recently, in light of the Ukraine-Russian war, Egypt, the government of Egypt increased the kind of subsidies to on the Bita'at Tamween, the ration cards for such kind of segment of population. So adding to that, the availability of the food supply is there simply because Egypt adopts different strategies from the West. The West does not depend on any kind of storage or inventory. Egypt, a long time ago, has always adopted such kind of inventory for strategic food products, which helped, again, to overcome such kind of crisis, despite the fact that Egypt is the largest importer in the world of wheat. But we didn't feel any kind of crisis in terms of availability of wheat and bread.
Yes, Dr. Ahmed Ghoniem, the Professor of Economics at the Faculty of Economics and Political Science in Cairo University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate over the phone. And we'll be having a quick break, so stay tuned.